Well, the second episode of House of the Dragon is here, and here's my review. Before I start talking about this episode, spoiler, and if you haven't watched it, I will talk about everything that happens in this episode. So it's up to you to stay or to leave and watch it and then come back. And yeah, that's it. So what happens in this episode? 3 stories are happening at the same time in this episode, and they are kind of entangled with one another, but they're kind of separated. I'm gonna talk about them one by one. They were created in the previous episode and they are now more detailed. So it has been 6 months since the queen and his son, which was King Viserys' heir, they both passed away. After 6 months, people expect the king to get married and have other heirs, male heirs. And that's where the first story begins. The first story is about King Viserys' marriage, which was brutal, which again reminded me of Game of Thrones, which was extremely frank and brutal with no empathy whatsoever. So the king wants to get married, and Lord Corlys, who is married to King's cousin, offer his daughter to King to get married. This was the moment that I thought, what the hell just happened? First of all, it referenced that Targaryens, they marry with each other and they are fine with it. And the other thing that was really shocking was that this girl was only 12, and that was very sick. Lord Corlys is one of the most powerful men in the realm, and he is also one of the richest ones. And when Viserys consults with his men, they all agree with this decision, although it is tough and it is brutal and it is, for these days standards, it's illegal, but they say that Lord Corlys is rich and this union could be really good. The only person who disagrees with it is King's Hand, Otto Hightower. At the end of the episode, something happens and King makes a foul decision, a wrong decision. We realize that it has been 6 months that Alicent went to King's room every night for the past 6 months, and although they didn't have a sexual relationship, she has been keeping the king's company, so she got close, chooses Alicent Hightower, which is an extremely controversial decision. The second story is about Daemon. Daemon sends King a letter which is actually pretty threatening. In that letter, he says that he is married, his wife is pregnant, and he also stole a dragon egg. And he references himself as the true heir to the throne. Actually, this was a really interesting storyline which was ruined kind of because this whole letter and this whole threat turned out to be something fake, and King does not go to Dragonstone and he sends Otto, and when Otto is about to confront him and takes the egg back, all of a sudden Damien's dragon come out and Otto and his men stand down. Actually, the TV show used this storyline, which was pretty rich, to just bring out Rhaenyra into the story and make her a bit more important. She appears with her dragon, she talks to his uncle, and she takes back the egg. And she's the protagonist. Of course, she has to make these decisions like this. This brings an end to this storyline and starts the next one, which is Rhaenyra's presence in politics. In the previous episode and in this one, we see that she is pouring wine in the meetings, in the things, and she's always almost present. And in this one, after she's being called heir to the throne, it's actually pretty weird that she's not more involved because she is the heir to the throne. Anyways, she's a lot more present in the politics of the system. She retrieves the stolen egg. She disobeys her father. She chooses Kristen Cole as the head of the Night Guard, if I remember it the name of the post correctly, who is not Otto Hightower's favorite. She argues with her aunt, Rhaenys Targaryen, whose nickname is the Queen Who Never Was. And at the end of the episode, when her father announces that he wants to marry Alicent, she exits the room. These three storylines were all interesting enough for me, but Damien's could be a lot better. Final words, this episode was not as good as the previous one for me. I enjoyed the first one much better, but it is still really promising and really good. It is still brutal and it is still really frank. And yeah, that's it. That's my opinion about House of the Dragon episode 2. Tell me, what did you think about it? And by the way, did you catch that in the intro, the map that was being created was the map that King Viserys created, which was a nice touch. As always, thanks. Bye.